Sup traders, it's Trades here. Let's do a pre-market analysis for the week ahead, starting 16th of December. It's probably the last tradable week of the year with volatility. I don't expect much going on next week, and we have essentially New Year's the week after, so not much going on at the beginning of the week after that either. So let's see what's happening this week. Loads of news this Monday. Then we've got FOMC on Wednesday, and GBP rates on Thursday, GDP on Thursday for dollar, and retail sales. Just a lot of news going on throughout the week, which is good. Going to give us loads of volatility. But let's see what's happening with Eurodollar. Eurodollar, we pulled back into this fair value gap 2 weeks ago in this bearish range, and then put in this doji candle followed by a bearish engulfing candle that took out the lows of the week before. And this week, because of this bearish engulfing candle and this bearish order flow, I will be looking for bearish trades and bearish order flow on the lower time frames. However, I'm also aware that we did take out previous week's low last week. We are also inside this range, and we also bounced off quite a key level on the weekly time frame. This major sell side liquidity, previous year's low, and also this weekly time order block followed by this monthly time frame fair value gaps start. So loads of confluence in either direction, and therefore I'm hesitant to look for shorts going all the way back down to these lows from November. Not sure if that's the low of the year, right? It could potentially be, but I will be watching for opportunities to short, especially on Tuesdays and Wednesday, depending on where price action is. So I'm not going to be trading. I'll be looking for patterns such as my channel pattern, mainly at specific locations. So this high right here below that fair value gap is a good location for price to come and find some kind of resistance, and I will look to short at that area. I won't be looking to short from there all the way down to here, or just be a short-term trade depending on the time of the day and the news that comes out, because we've got loads of news coming out during the week. So on the 240 last week, we bounced off this previous week's low, right? With this bullish engulfing candle on Friday, this really strong bullish engulfing candle. Then price pushed up, came down, tapped into the start of that fair value gap of that bullish engulfing candle, and then ranged sideways, and then we opened up and pushed up and took out this high today, this morning, during the PMI news. I can see price pushing back up to these highs. However, that's a prediction, and I'm not going to trade it up to that high. I would much rather trade it from that high to down here somewhere. On the lower time frame, right, we have just taken out Friday's highs, so this happens to be Friday's high. Today we also have this market structure shift, if you want to call it market structure shift. On the 5 minute, we swept Friday's high, Asian high, put in this inside bar, pin bar, after this shift up during the news, followed by a bearish engulfing candle, and that's a pretty good sign. Now we could potentially drop down somewhere. I'm not sure where it could drop down to, right? But if we had a gap, price gap to open up, it gap to open down and pushed up first. But it's a good location for price to find some kind of a resistance. Now I do believe this is a really good pattern, especially if we close below this inverse fair value gap, turn that into an inverse fair value gap, then you could potentially just trade it from either just the start of that fair value gap all the way down to these lows, 1-to-1, or even down to this low right here, where price, this low right there. But I'm not trading that, just a prediction. Same on pound dollar. Weekly order flow is bearish. We've been bearish for a really long time, pulled back, came into fair value gap, put in a bearish engulfing candle last week, so I predict price to continue lower this week. And we've put in a market structure shift right here on the daily time frame, close below, displaced lower with this bearish fair value gap. So I'll be watching price to pull back into either this fair value gap, or maybe we'll just trade inside this range with a bullish candle, and then we'll come back up and take out that high tomorrow, which will be a good place for me to trade and take a short. But at the moment, I am watching these levels, this daily time frame breaker, which also happens to be just at the 240 order block, which price has come into and tapped into today, this morning. Although daily time frame closed below this low, right on the 240, we have not closed below that, so it's something to consider. And on the 60-minute, we had this channel. I was watching this last night, thinking if we could trade around this area until London session, then we could potentially go up, but we didn't get that. And at the moment, we've come into this discount of the 60-minute range from that 240 order block start into the fair value gap on the 60-minute time frame, almost into that daily time frame breaker and the 240 order block, and could potentially provide an opportunity to short. However, I would like price to push up higher before I look for any trades, especially we've got GDP PMI news coming out at 9:30. I'll much rather wait for that news to come out before I look for any trades. And I'll see how this closes. This candle closes, how far I can push. Ideally, I still want to wait for Monday's candle to close before I look for trades, because I've noticed I'm not trying to trade trends on a Monday, although I could capture some moves. I'm more profitable when I'm not trying to do that. So I'd much rather would just wait around and do nothing on a Monday, unless it's some kind of a counter trade opportunity on a channel. Otherwise, it's not worth spending too much energy on Monday and taking any losses. So yeah, those are my pre-market analysis. I'd like to see price put Monday close, maybe Monday takes out Tuesday's high, we leave another fair value gap here. That's just a prediction right now. It could just easily just drop Monday. It doesn't always have to just consolidate on Monday. It can easily move in its direction on Monday, and it's probably a good time to trade right now if it is bearish, because we're seeing a lot of manipulation, right? But yeah, I would much rather wait for Monday to close out. So yeah, let's see how this plays out. And yeah, Merry Christmas for next week, almost.